Yeah, they're still saying it's not working. Okay, Karen sê hulle is in. My suster hulle is nog nie. Okay, hulle is in. Okay,
Reg.
good to go.
Sal hulle net sê as hulle drop, dan stop ons so oomblik. Okay.
Ja, Crystal sê ook dis nou aan. Okay.
All right. Ek wil sê dankie Quentin, Monique. Dankie dat julle vir my genooi het om dit te doen. Dit is regtig spesiaal, regtig. Ek gaan dit maar doen soos wat ek dit altyd doen, vir mense vir wie ek lief is. Is 'n bietjie anders, maar
We just need to do it in English as well.
nee, ek is jammer. This is my revenge for Land Rover. Ek wil vra dat ons 'n oomblik stil word. Let's be quiet just for a minute or two. Just breathe. Huh? Kom ons word stil. O Lord, you are our breathing. We breathe your holy breath. We are not even aware of our breathing, and yet we breathe the breath of life. And just for a moment we close our eyes so that we can see. And we become quiet so that we will hear. With family and friends, we celebrate the life of Stan. Make us aware of your presence, O Lord. Let this day and this hour not pass us without a moment of contemplating our own lives and what it means to be the awareness of your presence. Amen. Ek gaan nog een stukkie Afrikaans doen en dan sal ek net Engels doen. Ek wil begin met 'n gedig van Breitenbach. Breiten skryf, hy sê, ek getuig net hy wie se hart bewe van liefde vir sy mense sal mens kan wees. Net hy wat vuriglik meer vir hulle as vir homself beding, vryheid, vrede, waardigheid, net hy wat die lewe as heiliger beskou dan sy geloof en sy gode. Ek getuig slegs hy wat onverpoost die haat in hom en om hom bestry sal mens kan wees. Slegs hy wat hom afvra wanneer sy oë oopgaan op die môre, wat gaan ek vandag doen om te sorg ek behou my waarde en my trots as mens. Tell me about Stan Lewarne. Let's start there. How do you know him? How have you met him? Is he family? Is he a friend? Do you still owe him money? Let's hear. How do you know Stan Lewarne? Huh? Hello? Yes. You could just pass it a mic.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know afternoon, good afternoon. I'm Sister Alice. I know Papa Lewarne in Featherwood, room 39. When I start working there, he's a wonderful man, very friendly, never fight with anyone. It was a good friend for us. He liked to joke. He liked to tell us story, what he was doing in his life. There, somewhere, the conditions changed. I was the special nurse for him because every time the conditions changed, I was working. And then later, when he came back from I transferred why I know the children and the family, because phoning them, I'm in this situation, because we need to inform before to take the patients in the hospital. There, he went to the hospital, come back, friendly, and the joke is, he sold for me that room where he was staying. He said, give me 100,000. Now, I said, okay, let me pay something. I give him 100 rand. And then the next day when I came, he said, where is the balance? I said, I will bring tomorrow. He said, no more. Take back your 100 rand. You see, it was a friendly man.
Yeah.
He was very nice. He never fights. Everyone is crying for his death. And the day he changed the condition, it was again me. He rested in peace in my hands. I phoned the children. Before he smiled, he was smiling, and then I tried to call him. I said, because the day before he said he's making party for us. That party, we need to pay 4 rand for the food. And then I said, 4 rand, what are we going to buy? He said, if you are not happy, go out of my room. I said, okay. No, to say it was a man of people, he never checked who are you, doctor or nurses or what. He was happy with everyone. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Wie nog? Huh? Vertel vir ons, how do you know Stan? Yes.
Wel, ek ken hom nou al 'n jaar. Ek het net so 'n bietjie tyd saam met hom spandeer 2 keer 'n week. Gaan inkopies doen. Al die skoene in Woodlands aangepas. Want ek kon net nie 'n skoen kry wat reg is ooit nie. Maar ek ken hom as 'n generous mens en 'n opregte mens. Met 'n baie skerp sin vir humor. Ons het regtig pret gehad saam. Ja, ek het heeltyd gedink as ek iets moet sê, wat gaan ek nou sê en ek wou dit neerskryf maar ja, ek dink hy was regtig 'n blessing vir mense om hom. Dis die man wat ek ken in die afgelope jaar.
Ja.
So, ja.
Ek wou nie iets sê nie, maar ek sou iets sê. Ek was so ek dink ek was so een van hoërskool toe Stan ja, toe hy met Maggie begin uitgaan het. So was vir ons 'n baie groot treat toe hy nou in Nelspruit toe kom, want hy was 'n landros gewees. Toe hy nou met my tannie trou, is die eerste geleerde mens wat met iemand in ons familie getrou het, want jou pa het nie 'n graad gehad nie, my pa het nie, my tannie het nie, niemand het nie, aan al twee kante. So hy was nou die mynman en hy het so 'n Fiat 125 gery. En my ambisie was net om eendag 'n Italiaanse kar te hê, so Stan, en 'n magistraat of 'n prokureur te wees.
Nie voor 'n magistraat verskyn nie, kon nie. Dit tel nie.
Hy was nie 'n lekker magistraat nie. Glo my. Hy was nie. Ek dink Stan het bietjie mild geword soos hy ouer geword het. Hy was. En die ander ding wat ek van Stan kan onthou, toe ek in Nelspruit in versekering begin het het Stan my altyd laat inkom by die drive-in verniet en by die plaza verniet. So dit was baie nice.
Ek nog hoor. Keer daar agter.
Ja, my storie met hom Stan begin lank terug. Ek en Annetjie was saam op oorsese toer vir 3-4 weke. En toe moet hulle ons nou kom haal op die lughawe toe ons nou terugkom. En ek weet nie hoe dit gekom nie, maar die Vrydag aand, ons het die Saterdag geland of die Sondag, maar die vorige aand het hulle nou almal hier in 'n hotel ingeboek in Johannesburg en ons Stan en Tannie Maggie is toe ook daar. En oom Frans sê toe vir my pa en ma, julle gaan nou my suster en my swaar ontmoet. Julle gaan baie van my suster hou, maar julle gaan niks van my swaar hou. Toe sê my pa, nee, dis reg. En van daar af het hulle die grootste huisvriende geword onder die son. En een naweek toes ek toe nou weg en my ma en my pa is in 'n fight en my sussie skrik al mors dood want hulle het nooit beklei nie. En sy hardloop, hulle het so 2 huise van ons afgebly en sy hardloop so intoe. In die tussentyd is hulle twee toe ook in 'n fight, hy en Tannie Maggie.
Dit is vreemd, né?
En my sussie sê toe vir hulle, luister, julle moet nou eers ophou beklei, julle moet nou eers kom help aan daai kant. Om Stan nog iemand is dood of iemand iets het gebeur. Ja, sien, hulle hardloop agter haar aan en hulle kom daar en my ma en pa kyk hulle so en hulle sê en nou nee sê Stan, ons was besig met 'n geveg en toe Kiewit ons kom maar, wat gaan nie aan? My pa sê nee, maar hulle beklei ook. Hy sê wel, dan moet ons nou maar braai daarop.
Te braai hulle. Wonderlik. Nog iemand?
Marita?
Ja, jy
Vertel.
kom my nou stuur ek iets druk.
Ja, vir Maggie en Stan het ek in 1983 leer ken toe ek vir die Stadsklerk in Helspruit gewerk het en hulle was maar gereeld in die Stadsklerk kantoor met eiendomsontwikkeling en so. En toe het ek in 88 swanger geraak, 87 en toe sê sy vir my, sy gaan my babatjie oppas. Nou weet ek net nie hoe werk dit, hoe kon sy my babatjie oppas? Hulle is eiendomsagente en hulle is so besig, maar dit gebeur toe. En Melissa is toe gebore die jaar wat Quentin in matriek was in 1988 en hulle het 'n bol van 'n tyd gehad. Hulle was so Melissa se oupa en ouma en Quentin het matriek deurgekom met Melissa op sy skoot. So dis waar ons
Sweet,
lewe saam
dis
begin het.
wonderlik.
Vir die jare daarna, Vrydag, Saterdag, Sondag was ons by Maggie en Stan se huis. As ons net 'n halfuur laat was, het sy gebel, sy sê vir my, "Maatjie, waar is julle? Hoekom is julle laat?" En dan moes ek verduidelik, hoekom is ons nou nog nie daar nie. So hulle was regtig waar soos 'n pa en 'n ma, beste vriende, beste vriendin ooit in my lewe. Stan het so 'n wonderlike deel van ons lewe gevul met sy humorsin, met sy mooi stories wat hy vertel het. Hulle stories saam, sy rugby stories so kwaad hy geword het as die bokke nie na sy sin gespeel het nie en hulle is almal kose, hulle speel vandag soos kose. So dit was 'n baie algemene slagspreuk van Stan gewees. Hy was 'n slim man, jy kon na sy raad luister. Hy het tot 'n paar weke terug het hy nog vir my gesê, ek is so bly jy daai besluit in jou lewe geneem en jy moes lankal na my geluister het. So hy was 'n man van waarde en hy was 'n man van sy woord.
Ja.
So ou Stan, ek eer jou.
Wow.
Ek sal net iets lees van sy suster so lank.
Ja.
So this is from his sister Diane, who can't be with us today because she's in Dubai. And she wrote, "There is a quote that says, 'We do not remember days, we remember moments.' And I remember happy family get-togethers and holidays, snook braais and lazy Sunday afternoons in Somerset West. How you always found something positive and uplifting to say through all my trials and tribulations, never condemning, always encouraging. I will always treasure your love and support. I know the road you walked was anything but easy. You picked up your share of scars along the way. But now you're standing in the sun. You fought your fight and your race is won. Rest in peace, dear brother, knowing that the only scars in heaven are on the hands that hold you now."
When I spoke to Quentin, he said, let's have a celebration of life for my dad. What does it mean? What does it mean to have a celebration of life? We so seldom pause for a moment to just think about my life and how my life is somehow interconnected with the ants and the ravens and the planets and the bosons and the quarks and how this web of life with a capital L, a celebration of life, huh? And suddenly when you are 60, God forbid, I mean, now I'm at that age, you think back and at the end of the day, when I switched off my light, I said to Rodney when we drove here, I want to know it was a meaningful day. That's all I live for. It was a meaningful day. And if we sit here and we have a celebration of life, will we leave here with a new understanding, a new appreciation of what it means to live life alive? A celebration of life in the memory of Stan with his humanity, his humility, his mischief, smile, sense of humor, his integrity, his kindness, his grace, his wisdom, living authentically. I think if I can say something of Stan, what I remember is somebody who's true to himself, ongeag nie teenstaande desondanks. To be authentic. Truly, his life was a reflection of life. What does it mean to have a celebration of life? That's my question. Jimmy Carter is one of my favorite quotes. Understand? This one is for you. Jimmy Carter said, I have one life and one chance to make it count for something. My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I can, whenever I can, for as long as I can, with whatever I have to try and make a difference. Obviously, I have the privilege to, it is a privilege, it's an honor to be a reverend, a spiritual director, a minister within a small spiritual community in Cape Town. Oh, by the way, for those who do not know me, my father was Tannie Maggie's brother. Okay. So my father was Tannie Maggie se broer en om Frans se broer. Dis hoe ek in die storie inpas. To often sit with people in grief and to try and make sense of this part of our lives that we call grief, in our grieving, in our lament. It's interesting, the Hebrew word for lament and the word for nauseous, to throw up, is the same word. To lament in Hebrew and to spill your bowels is the same word. We so seldom go there in our lives, to our grief. We so seldom know anymore how to be vulnerable, how to come to a place where we touch our wounds. And then somehow on Fool's Day, Stan, well chosen, we sit for a moment in the celebration of life and become so aware of our own mortality, Rodney. Huh? We spoke about it. Our own weerloosheid, our own vulnerability, how we celebrate our birthdays every year, and we live effortlessly past the date when we will be no more. This is not a somber, this is not depressing. It is a call to ask you, how do we celebrate the life of Stan Lewarne and come to understanding in our own minds, what am I busy with in my life? What am I chasing? What am I so obsessed with? What is so in my life that I forget how to celebrate life with the hoofletter L? I never spoke to Stan about the soul. But in my younger days, we had many discussions rondom Kose and about soul. What it means to be human. What it means to be part of this journey, my own view of what we call God. I mean, the word God means nothing, okay? When you use the word God, you say something of the experience you have with what you call God or the divine. So when I speak about God, I speak about life. Not some supernatural being somewhere in the heavens, but part of our breathing, part of our blood, part of our interaction and our loving and our tears. And to be able to sit here in a celebration of life and say, my goodness, I didn't know that I live in heaven. Look at the friends. Look at the faces of people you will meet today. The clouds. We so seldom see the clouds. It's just weather, it's just good weather or bad weather, but we seldom see the clouds. We flip a switch and there's light. Well, sometimes. You turn a faucet and there's cold water and warm water and drinkable water. It's a privilege that millions on this planet will never have. This celebration of life. And this God, this flow, this movement of light and joy and peace and love and understanding and in die klein grasspriet en in die doringboom, but also in our loving and in our caring. I find that incredible. It moves me every time we will want to fly with spaceships into somewhere find life. If we can just find a drop of water, we will know, oh, there's life out there. My goodness, vat jy uit jou skoene en staan met jou voete op die gras. Life. Life. We are here to celebrate the life of Stan Lewarne. What does it mean? Shall we quote W.H. Auden? Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone. Silence the pianos and muffle the drum. Call out the mourners, let the coffin come. Shall we quote Dylan Thomas from Stan? Do not go gentle into the good night. Old age should burn and rave and close of day. Rage, rage against the dying light. Where does it leave us who are left behind? Quentin, Monique? How do we carry the memory of this dad, of this husband, of this friend? The stories we tell, we so seldom tell stories anymore. Maybe because we don't sit around fires anymore. I know the dominees read this poem over and over and over again at every bloody funeral. But I have to do it today because from Stan, Tannie Maggie, from Frans, Tannie Ella, Pa Connie, Maida, this poem has been the inspiration for generations of cultures all over this planet. In Hebrew we know it as Mitzmor David, Adonai Rui. The Lord is my shepherd. I do not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the waters of rest. He restores my soul, my nefesh. He restores my soul. He guides me on the path of righteousness for His name's sake. And even though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no harm. For You are with me, Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Le'olam d'olam. What will we take with us when all is said and done? Will we have this celebration of Stan, and my goodness sake, leave here today and make a choice to live your life alive as a celebration of life with gratitude. Al is dit net vir skoene and milkshakes. Are your life a reflection of life? Can we truly live a life in the awareness of the presence of God? Can I share with you a story? Years and years ago, I did my partial clinical work in a hospital. It's for a year. And the one day, I heard my name over the intercom, will Reverend Jordan please go to theater 5 or 6 or so, I can't remember. And I thought, it must be a mistake. So I hanged around for a while, and there was again, will Reverend Jordan please go to theater 5? And finally I rocked up there, and the surgeon said to me, where were you? We want to start the operation. I said, wat het dit met my te doen? He said, scrub up, go, bam, bing, bang. And I said, what do you want from me? I was still young and vurig. And he said, I want you to stand there and for the next 3 hours be the awareness of the presence of God. I remember how I shrimpled down the wall in a theater. My responsibility the next 3 or 4 hours is to be the awareness of the presence of God. Monique, Quentin, Stan, Tannie Maggie, Frans, Pa Connie, Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse. This one's for you, William Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In a fell clutch of circumstance, I have not whinged, nor cried aloud. Now, under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. And beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet in the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. There's an African proverb that says, when we die, we become the songs that the birds will sing. Ons sal jou hoor, Stan. Ons sal jou hoor.
Thanks, Sir Blanche. I've got a few comments that people have sent through that couldn't be here today that I'd just like to read out. The first is a poem that Jill and Keith wrote, and Jill and Keith were dear friends that live in France, and I think the poem really captures everything about my dad. So she wrote, Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, a glass-bottomed boat in gentle motion, a beautiful lady and an imposing man, our fellow sailors, Maggie and Stan. A lifelong friendship was born that day, and our lives were transformed on trips to SA. We were welcomed and looked after in more ways than one, and Stan's fabulous brides were second to none. Great times together in the Kruger Park, every adventure left a special mark. Lions, leopards, elephants and wild dogs, buffalo, cheetah, crocs and warthogs. We travelled the Kruger north, south, west and east, but Stan's favourite sighting was the blue wildebeest. He loved his sport, namely rugby and cricket. Hang on to your seat when SA took a wicket. He cheered and shouted and had us in fits, especially when the Springboks trashed us Brits. But all good things come to an end, so thanks for all, rest in peace, dear friend. Always in our hearts, Jill, Keith and David.
Oh, lieflik.
And then from his sister Dee, Stan, oh Stan, my big brother, you came into my life full of pranks and tricks. You had physical challenges, but you never let them get you down. You were always ready to enjoy the brighter side of life. As we grew up, our lives went in different directions, but we always kept in contact, and we were still able to enjoy our times together. Everyone who ever met you remarked on how happy and content you always were. You were always happier sitting around a braai together with your family and friends. We're all going to miss you, but take pleasure in knowing that you are now at rest and back with Maggie. May you rest in peace, love always. And then from Mims and Piet, friends from Nelspruit. Dis met swaar harte en 'n gevoel van groot verlies wat ons van jou afskeid neem, liewe Stan. Ons vriendskap met jou en Maggie het byna 40 jaar geduur en daar is 'n magte om mooi herinneringe. Ons sal nooit die wonderlike aande vergeet waar ons heerlik saam gekuier en gesmil het aan Maggie se, net 'n vreeslike fancy woord hier gebruik Mims, maar ek sal maar net sê beesterd bredi en lamskenkels. Bredi. Dankie vir 'n skatkis mooi herinneringe. Jy en Maggie leef vir altyd in ons harte. Piet en Mims. And then from his
It's okay. It's all
from
right.
his two grandsons, Sebastian and Ross. It's difficult to put into words exactly what and how much our Opa meant to us. He was a kind man, a gentle man, and one with the strongest of morals. He was incredibly proud of us, and we both wish we had the opportunity to tell him just how proud we were to be his grandsons. At our Oma's funeral, a song was played called Supermarket Flowers. One of the lines in this song is a heart that's been broken, is a heart that's been loved. Those words couldn't be truer right now, but we are so blessed to have an Oupa who loved us so much and who loved, and we loved in return. Well, I can't see. If there's any comfort we can take in his passing is that he's with our Oma Maggie now. We are sure they are somewhere in heaven. Oupa with a milkshake in hand, catching Oma up on everything she missed. Well, I hope she speaks to him because she didn't want to speak to him the last couple of months. The fact that they get an eternity of love again is worth all the heartache we could both feel right now. Finally, we just want to say thank you to everyone who cared for Oupa. From our Oma's passing to his final moments, we've been told how happy and upbeat he was in his final weeks, and we can never be grateful enough to all of you for treating him with the dignity and respect he deserved. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And from his son-in-law, Nick, as the dad of Stan's two grandsons, I'm very fortunate to have had such a wise man in our team. I think wise people are like good comedians. They say the right things at the right time for maximum impact. Stan was like that, and if the right thing needed to be done or said, he would do so. He was such a good role model for Sebastian and Ross, and always ready to engage with them in conversation, whether light-hearted banter or a serious discussion. Stan and Maggie treated me as their own child when I married Monique. We had such wonderful times together. Laughed and cried, shouted at television sets, cheered around the rugby and cricket pitches, the things that family do. There will never be a Stan Lewarne again, a loving and caring husband, a wonderful dad, and the best Oupa a boy could dream of. He is with us no more, but he has left a lasting impression on us. He was like the North Star. You could set your course by him. I wrote the fond memories I have of my dad. He was brutally honest and normally said what he thought. He put his foot in it many times. Must be where I get it from. But his intentions were always good, and he always tried to help. His sense of humor was there till the last, and he was sharp as a tack. Family and friends were everything to him. Can actually just say family only. When he was your friend, you were his family. He would do anything to help and support without question. He and my mom were a rock to many. He loved his rugby, and we won't hold it against him that he was an avid Blue Bull supporter. Probably not the right thing to say here. Saturday afternoons would be depicted with words like, help thy man, help that man, doing bunny jumps towards the TV. When there was a possible try coming, my mom saying, Stanley, calm down, you're going to get a heart attack. And his response would be, but Maggie, they get paid thousands a month and they play like palookas. He always used to use some more choice words at times. Like most Lewarnes, he loved his food. When on holiday, he would ask at the breakfast table what we were going to do for lunch and dinner. I can see my mom's eyes rolling in her head. He loved anything to do with fires and cooking, and Monique and I vividly remember his potjiekos phase, which is a cast iron pot on a fire that you layer with meat and veg. So much so that after weeks of Sundays of potjiekos, we would phone Chris and Anna Marie Louise's mom and dad and say, please just invite us round for Sunday lunch and please don't make potjie. As Ria mentioned, his favourite things the last couple of years were burgers, milkshakes, Cadbury's whole nut chocolates, and he never stopped asking for a braai. And I, by chance, spoke to Dini, who said, yes, we've got facilities here. And I immediately organised his braai, which was literally 7 days before he passed. He was so excited about that braai. He was telling everybody and inviting everybody to his braai. And on the day, he wanted to be pushed in his wheelchair to right next to the braai, and he wanted to watch me. You know, nobody gives advice at a braai, but he wanted to watch how I was braaiing. And when he was eating, he was literally, every bite he took, he said, and it was just so beautiful. And yeah, I'm so blessed I could have called him my dad. It took me a very long time to get him, understand him, and appreciate him. He loved unconditionally. He accepted me without question. I know he hoped for a Springbok rugby player in me, but at my first rugby game, when I got hold of the ball, and in my ears I could hear everybody screaming and shouting, and I didn't understand why nobody was chasing me because I was running in the wrong direction. I think that day he realized it's not going to happen, so I think I hope I've made him proud in other ways. I'm proud to call him my dad. If I can be 10% of the man he was, I would die a happy man. You held your dignity until the end and never complained. Vlieg hoog, my pa. Fly high, you'll always be in my heart. I'm going to ask you to read my next one because I don't think I'm going to make it. Thanks.
My earliest memories of you and Mum are of parties at our house and me sneaking out of my bed to sit under the table and watch you dance to Mama Temba is getting married tonight. La Paloma Blanca and Desmond has a barrel in a marketplace. And the James Last Band. It was such happy times. I also remember me jumping into your bed on a Saturday morning, lying with my ear on your chest, trying to make sure our breathing was in sync. I always thought that if we can breathe in and out at the same time, that we will be linked forever. I also recall at weddings and larger parties when you and Mum danced and you picked me up and the three of us would dance together. I think what I'm trying to say is that I always felt safe in that triangle. My parents were my rocks and my anchors. When Mum died, I felt so lost for a very long time. But I knew you were still there, and that although the anchor was not that strong, it was still there until now. But I must take comfort in the fact that you and Mum are together in the arms of Jesus. I'm sorry for being so hot-headed and stubborn in my teens. We sparred a lot, but never stopped loving each other. It is the most remarkable characteristic I got from you, and that I have passed on onto both my boys. It is that stubborn, steadfast belief is what is right and what is wrong that runs through not only my veins, but Quinton's and my boys too. Thank you for finally agreeing after years of bickering to let me go to Stellenbosch. If you did not give in, I would not have met Nick and my boys would not have been there. I know how much you loved Nick, Sebastian and Ross. You were so proud of the boys' sporting achievements. They brought you so much joy. And thank you for the love you've shown them. There's so much I've learned from you, and which I live my life by. Your honesty, your loyalty, and family above anything else. You never took the popular route. You stood up for the underdog, and you did not care for be part of the in crowd or the please others. You were your own man. You taught me that if someone wants to borrow money from you and you have it to give, you give it without demanding it back. Generous to a fault. Always wanting to feed everyone and make sure they had enough to eat. For as a child you went without food many a night. Also your resilience in never giving up and always did your best. Your disability never held you back and you never used it for us as an excuse. Thank you for being my biggest fan, always believing I could achieve more than I ever thought I could. Sending me to school a year early, not being surprised when I achieved on a sporting field, or with whatever I put my mind to. You always told me that it will be okay. You were right. And you knew that I would succeed when I doubted myself so much. Thank you for always having my back, knowing instinctively when things were not right or off kilter with me. I recently found the letters you wrote to me when I left Stellenbosch. They are so encouraging and full of wise words. I'm so glad I kept them all. I'm sure I will be using some of your phrases to encourage my boys and give guidance for them soon. You and I had a very special bond, which I hope I will be able to have on the same level with my boys. All you ever wanted was your family around you. I could never understand that as a child, but once I had a family of my own, I got it. You have taught me humility, honesty, and above all that you work your fingers to the bone for your family, and nothing is insurmountable. Still okay? That your family needs you, you show up. You would have been so proud of both Sebastian and Ross and how they have rallied around me, checking on me, giving me the most sound and mature advice. The last 5 years have been very special time in your and my relationship. I phoned you every day on the way to work and back from work, and some days twice a day. We spoke of insignificant things, but we spoke. And we knew that what was going on in each other's lives. I cried on the phone to you for so many months missing Mum, and you cried too. We found support and love in equal measures. My heart aches as I will not be able to have earthly conversations with you again. I know heaven awaits and we will be together again. Selfishly, I wanted you to be in my life for longer. But I must say, the time we had was so very special to me. And I will always cherish your wise words and guidance. I take solace in the fact that I told you on Friday the 10th of March, in the afternoon, that I love you, and you told me you loved me too. And you went to sleep and you have no more pain, or anxiety, or confusion. You died a good death. What more can I say than thank you for being my pa, for your unconditional love, for being a role model, not only to me, but to my boys and Nick too. I will love you forever. And when I eat the choppy, or machos, or cheese, or avo, I will always think of you. Goodness. Ek het nie geweet die twee van julle skryf so mooi nie. It's beautiful.
Thanks. There's just a few comments on the YouTube as well that I just wanted to read out. So the Vaughns, who are friends of mine who live in London, love to the Lewarne family. Ken Bonnet, and Agatha, again friends of mine who met my parents. We were fortunate to meet him and visit with him during a trip with his amazing son Quinton. When we came to South Africa, he was friendly and welcoming. Karen and Ian, we met Stan at Dee's and Krusty's house in the Kelders. Krusty is Dee's husband. His real name isn't Krusty. It's Paul. Stan was a genius at Uno. He beat us every time. With a smile and a twinkle in his eye. We have so many good memories. Ken, again, a relatively short encounter, but he made us feel so welcome. We never forgot his kindness. We wished him and his family peace and love. And Karen posted, I miss his smile. He would call me when I was doing my PhD and say, so, how's chapter 8 going? He kept me going through some tough chapters, and I'm sorry he isn't with us at my graduation on May 10th. Karen again said, my favorite Stan phrase, it's part and parcel of life. Rensha van Eck and Skalk, ons koester jou mens wees, humor, sin en mooi glimlach. And then the Vaughan said, first time meeting Stan, the family came around for dinner, only we couldn't find the keys to open up. Had to ask Stan to climb through the ground floor window. As soon as he was in, the keys were found. Stan took it in his stride with plenty of jokes at our expense. Stan had such a great sense of humor, and he will be missed. Rest in peace.
Kan ek vir ons afsluit met 'n gebed? Ons Vader wat in die hemel is, hemel wat in en om en by ons is. Heilig is die naam, ek is wie ek is. Laat die koninkryk kom deur ons hande, ons voete, ons woorde, ons oë. En gee ons vandag ons daaglikse brood. Brood wat ons sal herinner aan ons eenheid met mekaar. En lei ons wanneer ons in versoeking kom, en verlos ons van dit waarin ons so swaar dra. Leer vir ons wat is vergifnis, want om te vergewe kom ons vry uit die hel van skuldgevoel en vrees. Laat ons altyd liefde kies bo vrees. Want in U behoort die krag en die heerlikheid, ons verwondering en ons aanbidding van nou af tot in aller ewigheid. Amen. Thanks Quentin, thanks Monique. Thank you that I can be part of your day. I really, it's an honor. I appreciate it. Gaan ons nou braai?
I think we've already
Ons het klaar
bribed.
gebraai. Thank you.
The braai's ready.
Let's have some food.
Thanks everybody.